From a $3 billion man who got arrested at an airport with an illegal gun he bought from a mechanic, to a world champion who had to sue his own team to get the car he was promised. This is the F1 driver's most ridiculous purchases tier list. Nico Rosberg. Nico Rosberg won the 2016 Formula One World Championship and retired the next day. Took his $50 million, walked into Silicon Valley, and told venture capitalists he was Formula One World Champion Nico. It worked. He now manages $200 million in assets. Not ridiculous, just terrifyingly competent. S tier. Flavio Briatore. World-famous convicted race fixer and Italian businessman Flavio Briatore got banned from Formula One for orchestrating a deliberate crash in Singapore 2008. Came back in 2024 as Alpine's executive advisor. Because in F1, bans are mostly suggestions. His purchase? A $20 million super yacht called Force Blue. 63 meters. Annual running costs? $2 million. He registered it in the Cayman Islands as a charter vessel, charging $275,000 a week to avoid paying sales tax when docking in European harbors. Italian police followed the yacht with high-speed boats, boarded it in the port of La Spezia, and seized it while Briatore, his wife, and newborn son were on board. The yacht was eventually auctioned. Bernie Ecclestone bought it, two of the most controversial men in Formula One history, passing the same seized super yacht between them like a hot potato. A tier. Daniel Ricciardo, a man who celebrates podiums by drinking champagne from his own racing boot, launched a wine brand called DR3. He spent months in vineyards tasting blends with a chief winemaker. The wine costs $80 a bottle. He also sells a $525 racing shoe-shaped wine decanter. This is all completely in character and makes total sense. B tier. Bernie Ecclestone, net worth $3 billion. Ran Formula One for 40 years. Sold it to Liberty Media for $4.4 billion in 2017. His most ridiculous purchase? A cattle farm in Brazil. He bought it years ago. He loves it. He visits regularly with his wife, Fabiana, who is Brazilian, and their son, Ace. The problem is the gun. In May 2022, Ecclestone was at Viracopos Airport in Campinas, boarding his private jet to Switzerland. Brazilian police ran his luggage through the X-ray machine and found something. An unloaded LWC Camp 32 pistol, undocumented, unregistered, tucked in his bags. He acknowledged the gun was his. He told police he'd bought it from an F1 mechanic about 5 years earlier. He kept it on the farm. He simply forgot it was in his bag. A $3 billion man, arrested at a Brazilian airport for accidentally packing a gun he bought from a mechanic. He was released after paying bail of $1,240. Then he flew to Switzerland. Ecclestone later told reporters, "I haven't had any publicity lately, and I thought I ought to do something to get some." Keep in mind that he's 91 years old. God tier. David Coulthard. David Coulthard owns an 85-acre estate in Scotland called Barwinick House. He grew up nearby. He converted a mill on the property into storage for his private car collection, which spans from his 1982 childhood cart all the way to a $2 million Mercedes-AMG Project One. He was then warned by the council that his renovation work didn't match the approved drawings and he could face legal enforcement action. David Coulthard, 13 Grand Prix wins, $80 million net worth. Threatened by Dumfries and Galloway Council. B tier. Jenson Button, 2009 Formula One World Champion. His most ridiculous purchase? It's a car he didn't buy. It's a car he had to sue Mercedes to get. Button's contract with Brawn GP stated clearly, win the championship, receive a BGP 001. He won the championship. Brawn became Mercedes. Mercedes offered him a show car, a replica. Jenson Button won the world title in that car, and they tried to give him a plastic model. He sued them and won the car. A real BGP 001, original race engine intact. The machine that won 6 Grand Prix in his title year. He kept it for years. Then, in 2024, Chassis 001, the first Brawn ever built, went to auction at Bonhams in Miami, estimated at $4.5 to $6.5 million. It sold for $3.8 million and didn't reach its reserve, unsold. Jenson Button's championship car, priceless. Also, technically, not sold. But here's the Ferrari Enzo. Button bought one to celebrate his championship. He owned it for 2 weeks. Then he sold it secretly because McLaren, his team, had a rivalry with Ferrari. He later said about the Enzo, "It felt like a race car, but wasn't a race car. So what exactly was it? Really, I should have held on to it because it would be worth a fortune now." 2-week Ferrari ownership, a lawsuit to get his own car, and a $3.8 million auction with no buyer. A tier. Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz voluntarily pays millions of euros in Spanish taxes every year instead of moving to Monaco like literally every other driver on the grid. He does own a Monaco apartment, he just doesn't live in it. Carlos Sainz, the only Formula One driver whose most ridiculous purchase is paying his taxes. F tier. Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton's most ridiculous purchase is not the 3 LaFerraris, not the Pagani Zonda, not the $1.5 million Richard Mille he wore to work. It is the record label. Hamilton has run a record label for over a decade. He has a recording studio he has taken to race weekends, full production set, wherever he goes. He featured on a Christina Aguilera album in 2018 under the name XNDA and told nobody. Tiny Tempa heard his music and described it as really, really good. It's interesting. I'm curious to see how people will react to it. Nobody has reacted to it because none of it has been officially released. Lewis Hamilton has been making music very seriously since 2015, 10 years. A record label, a secret alias, a full touring studio setup, one album feature under a fake name on a pop record, and 0 official releases. The most famous man in motorsport history has been running a secret music career for a decade that nobody is allowed to hear. S tier. Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen spent $73 million on a private jet and a yacht in the same year. He is 27. No words for this. S tier. Fernando Alonso. Fernando Alonso's most ridiculous purchase, an Aston Martin Valkyrie, $3.5 million. Built by the team he was racing for, designed by the man who designed his championship-winning cars. He assumed he would get an employee discount. Guess what? He did not get an employee discount. I'd hoped for an employee discount. That was my wish, and I took it for granted, probably. I went through the specification and then looked for the discount. There was no discount. By then it was too late, so he paid full price. $3.5 million to his own employer. Then he commissioned a second car, the Aston Martin Valiant, 38 ever made because apparently once was not enough. He was the first customer. He was also, presumably, the only customer who invented the car. S tier. The discount would have been nice. Sebastian Vettel. Sebastian Vettel spent 3 million euros on a 1992 Williams FW14B. His reason? Just like me, it carries the number 5. His daily driver is a Nissan Leaf. God tier. That is every purchase ranked. And if you want to know what these same men do on their days off, including one who races snowmobiles in Finland under a dead man's name, that video is right here.